How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get creative. It's time to have some fun. And it's time to get into some animation. And most of all, it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from my personal, at least top three, if he's not my number one, favorite director. And that is Guillermo Del Toro. And if you haven't seen any of his movies, oh my goodness, what are you doing? Pacific Rim, Pan's Labyrinth, Devil's Backbone, Mimic, so many just great movies. And what I love about his movies is always he brings his unique sense of imagination and style to each and every one. So I grabbed a couple of pages from his sketchbook that I wanted to share with you guys as well. And the thing that I love about his sketches is just how much detail and everything and notes he puts in around each and every idea, and just how you can see from some of his sketches just how they bring those to life in his movies as well. And I'm gushing. I love his stuff so much, so very much. Seriously, the stylings of his movies to me are completely inspirational, and I love each and every one of them for different reasons. Probably my I don't know, it's between Pacific Rim and Pan's Labyrinth for myself, of ones that I enjoy the most. But I think he just has a completely creative mind, and there's some great kind of interviews and behind the scenes documentaries with interviews and stuff with him that are just great, engrossing hour and a half long interviews with him that I just pour over. But anyways, I wanted to share a quote with you from one of them that I found, because I thought it was, well, it stuck with me, and I'll let you guys know. I don't effing want a wider audience. I want the audience for the movie. And again, he uses the real word, but I'm trying to keep this stuff so I don't use too many, putting a little bit of limitations on myself. But I think it's great when you know what you want and your vision is strong and you know what you want to do with that. Don't compromise. And this quote came after the back of, he was telling a story about how in Pan's Labyrinth there is a large amount of violence, and they said if they could just scale out some of that violence, they could lower the rating, even sell it more as a, kind of a scary kids movie and stuff, rather than more of an adult themed movie. But he just said, that's not the audience. That's, the audience that you guys are saying that it is, but that's not the right audience for the story that he wanted to tell. And I love when he talks about stories, he always uses like fables. He uses fables as more of his word of describing kinds of stories, really, that he does, is that there's, iconic characters and very thematic visions for each one of his characters. I keep using that. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into some animation before I go rambling too far. I'm sure I'll think of the word as we go through here. This is the Destrozar rig. It's a free rig you can grab over at Creative Crash. And if you're not familiar with what we'll be doing for the rest of this video, we give ourselves 48 frames. It's 2 seconds of animation. Go off and I find a different rig that I've never used before to share with you guys. It's a free resource that you can play around with. And we kind of go from there. A little bit of over the shoulder, just hang out with me while I animate, watch how I animate. A little bit of kind of instruction or guidance, at least if you're a beginner. I'm sure for those more advanced animators, you can definitely point out, I would have done it this way, this is another way. But I wanted to create kind of a resource in the community for people who are just starting out kind of in animation, or for people who are looking for more community or inspiration. The real goal behind these videos is hopefully you learn something along the way, or bare minimum you at least get inspired to go off and create something of your own. And then definitely share it back too down below, so I can definitely give you some thumbs up or some words of encouragement as well. And any sort of criticism or critiques or anything, if you'd ever like that too, feel free to let me know. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get in here. For what I was thinking with this one that I wanted to do was, I think I'm going to do a little more, we'll see what this rig will let us get away with. But I was thinking kind of a little bit of like an excited puppy kind of feel. Or excited little kid kind of feel with this robot. I thought that would be kind of a fun, different way to take this character. One thing, if you do end up using this rig, that I did have to do right away, that I don't usually have to do on most rigs, is I did have to scale it down. The size that it comes in at was really large, and the way that I animate personally needed to be a little bit smaller in order to not lose part of the rig when we're moving it around a lot. So that's just a side note if you guys end up using this rig for yourself. So let's go ahead and create polygon primitives. Let's do a cube just so we have a ground layer. And see, like I said, it's already getting so we can't zoom out very much without it starting to disappear. Okay. Now, we do have everything turned off except our nerve curves, nerve surfaces, and polygons. And I did want to save the scene. I didn't get a chance to do that before, and this looks like it's a binary file, so we want to change our file type here. And remember, whenever you're using Autodesk Maya, it's always good to save multiple versions and to save it often, just in case some unforeseen problem comes out along the way. You can always revert back to an older file. We'll just call this Destrozar, actually. Is that right? Let's see. Destrozar. Yep. And we're using the Y up version. I think there's a Z up as well, but I always like to use Y as my vertical when given the opportunity. It's the one I'm more familiar with. So let's see if we can't create a more interesting pose here. Let's go ahead and rotate that up a little bit. It's weird how that rotates there. So. It's kind of a strange way to set that up. Let's see if the other one's the same. Okay, we can do a little bit of tilt that way. That's interesting. I'll have to see how that turns out once we get there. And let's go ahead and treat these kind of like ears here. So I'll kind of rotate them off to the side, Y a little bit. Like I said, the idea I'm thinking for this one, if we can pull it off, would be kind of like I said, like an excited dog. So we want to give it some kind of animalistic qualities here if we can. And we'll go ahead and pull that down. And let's go ahead and set our frame range. And we're probably going to end up doing more like 60 frames, so let's go ahead and save that, just because for acting shots, if we want to get feelings across, we usually need a few more frames than just 2 seconds. So again, let's make sure we just have our nerve curves, nerve surfaces, and polygons selected. Let's grab everything, go to frame 0, and set our first key. Just hit S on the keyboard. And let's do some quick up and downs here. So we'll go down. Too fast, but I want some quick little bounces here. Might do it on 6s instead of 5s though. So let's go Window, Animation Editors, Graph Editor. Looks like Translate Z is still up and down. Whichever, we'll go with that. Go with the flow. Let's see. And let's try doing it one more frame so we give ourselves 6 frames. Might be too slow though. So let's see. We'll go back down here. And then I think we'll just do some little ones there, and we'll do some quick steps here, some like happy little steps here. So let's see it. Maybe we'll do it a little bit bigger. And we'll kind of blend the movement, that way we don't kill it here. And then we'll take, we'll go ahead and save it there. different one. 0. This one would be 0 here with that, and 0 that again. Let's go and see it. I think I might need to do it on 5s for these though. It feels like that's a little bit long, so I'll cut a frame there, I'll cut a frame there. Let's go and see that. That feels a little better. And then for this one, we'll go. Let's go 48. Set that, or 38, sorry. And what's 5 frames from that? 43. So it's hitting at a different time than 48. Let's zero that out. 43. Key that. 48. Go up. 5 frames from that would be 53. Zero that out. Let's go and see that now. Let's have it do, I want at least 2 cycles of that, so. And we'll hold for another, 5 frames from that. Go and raise that up. And zero that out. Raise that up again, and zero it out again. Let's go and see it now. Go ahead and raise that up, and bring it back down, and go and raise it up again. Let's go look at it now. And let's get a couple more here. Raise that up again. And let's go 70 frames here. Give me 5 more from there. Okay. Get this guy. I'll go ahead and raise that up there. And zero it out there. Raise that up there. And zero it out there. Let's go ahead and see that now. Okay, we need to get these ones going one more time. Let's go and zero it out there. Raise it back up again. And this one. Raise it up again. And bring it back. I think I'll just leave it down for that one. Okay, let's take the back legs and push them forward 2 frames. Let's grab everything and we'll cut one frame out of each one. So grab everything here, cut from there, cut from there, cut from there. Make this a little bit faster here. Let's go look at that. Cut it down to 62. And I'm making 2 frames each for the contact here. So let's go translate C here. Let's actually do it foot by foot here. Maybe we'll just one extra frame of contact here, so we do have 2 frames each time. Yeah, it feels a little better. Zero that out here, keep it on the ground a little bit longer. Also mixes up the timing a little bit better. And zero that out. You got a bunch of little quick fun steps there. Okay, up here, lift it up. Keep it down, plant it a little bit more. And keep it planted again. Let's see what now. Okay, now let's go ahead and see what we can do and mix it up with this body. Let's do a little bit of rotate down, back, and down, back, and down, back, and down, back. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze there. Still getting over a little bit of a cold here, but it's not going to stop us. Nah, we always keep going. Don't let things get in our way, right? Way to go, you. You. Yeah, you're awesome. Keep going. You can do it. And we'll go rotate up a little bit more. Okay, so that should add a little bit of looseness in there. Let's go ahead and I'm not easing in and out of that last one, but I haven't really just kind of transitioned there. Let's go see that now. Okay, and then I think we want to make sure we're getting really right back into that, so we get a good cycle. Let's see. We do the leg lifts here. We could do a little bit of It's not exactly precise, but let's see if we can just do a little bit of that in so we get a little bit of tip. I feel like that last rotate down is a little too over-exaggerated. Just not really cycling through as well. A little less up and down there. Still feels like it should be a little bit more. Maybe we just need an extra frame. Let's go 63. Just an extra frame to get where we're at here. Let's see. Yeah, we can worry about that a little bit later. It's still a little bit of polish here. And do a little bit of overshoot and recoil from a rotate wise here, so we start off with a little bit. And then let's go 64. Grab everything here, push it back to 64. Ooh. Excuse me. Okay, grab main base unit. Jeez. And drag this one extra frame, but then cut it. So we still have that little bit of movement transition from when we're cycling. And we'll go 62 here. Maybe we went 61. Just feels like it's too much loss of energy at that last little bit. That feels better. Just to keep the energy and momentum going throughout this thing. Now obviously we do have this little bit of pop in these gears, but I'm not sure there's a real controller for that. So we're just going to have to kind of let that work its way. Now let's go ahead and do some extra bits here. Go ahead and save our file just since we haven't done so for a while. Now what do we do this first one on? 6s pretty much, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and grab these guys. And do each one by themselves, I guess. started at 4. So we'll open up here, drag down, bring it up, drag down, just so the timing's not the same on everything. Okay, and let's clean that up in our graph editor a little bit more. Let's watch that one, see how it goes. It's got a little bit of that overlap. I think it's a little too much towards the end, so we're going to need to narrow that down a little bit, shrink it. Just as the momentum slows down a little bit in the body when the legs start going. I want that. That feels a little better. And let's go ahead and do this guy. And let's pretty much follow the same ideal here. 4, I think. Yeah. That's 4. We've got 10, 16, 22, 28, 34, 40, 46, 52, 58, and bring it back up a little bit. Okay. Now again, we did want to minimize the amount that we had towards the end a little bit more, and also we want to make sure we get a kind of good balance between the up and the down a little bit, and then we're not just favoring the downside or the upside, but we're getting a good amount of movement throughout. And we do want to kind of taper it off a little bit towards the end there, so let's go ahead and look at that now. And let's see if we can't do this guy here. Let's go ahead and lead with him, so we'll have it go down, look up, down. Definitely have to tweak this in the graph editor, because this one, some controllers, it's kind of weird, and like I said, I'm not a rigger myself, but some controllers are very finicky with how they move, and other ones are very liberal. And this one tends to be one of those ones that a little goes a long way, or they tend to kind of get stuck a little bit almost. So just be aware of that if you're using this rig, that this is one where I'd say you can definitely use kind of world space to kind of plot where you want a general idea, but then go in and tweak it with the graph editor so you can get stuff a little bit more like you like it. And same idea throughout, like we have in the body, and that we did kind of in those ear cannons, I guess we could call them. So we just kind of want a little bit of a taper towards the end, so it's not as much movement here. And I'm probably going to just minimize it universally throughout as well. And if you're not understanding what I'm saying by taper, is that we have larger movements towards the beginning, and then we gradually make them slower movements throughout. I'm sure that's, most of you guys are phenomenal already, great animators, so that's probably redundant for you guys, but there might be some people out there who don't understand what we're talking about, so always try to make sure that we go over things as simply as we can. I'm not sure how I'm going to approach this other controller. I think I'm going to do it where I delay it, but we might go the other way around. We'll see. Right now, again, this is one of those kind of finicky controllers, so I want to be careful with how we do it here. And let's go ahead and definitely minimize the amount of movement that we're doing on that throughout our graph editor. Gotta keep reminding myself to do a lot more of my graph editor work on the main recording screen, because I know a lot of times I'll get lost in my work. My voice trails off a little bit, and I don't do as much work on the graph editor in screen vision. So one of those critiques that I'm giving to myself when I watch back videos. So my goal to you guys is to hopefully work on that a little bit more. So sorry in the past. Still working on getting a little bit better audio. I gotta build a different setup. Moved into a different place, so hopefully the audio is a little better than it was even a month ago. I got a different mic, cool little blue snowball that I think cuts out a lot of the background noise that I was getting just from. I got a computer that's got a pretty noisy fan in there, but I do a lot of noisy work, so I don't want to turn my fan down when I've got video recording software and Maya up. That would kind of butcher my processor pretty quick, so I think I'm going to go the other way down to here. Let's see. I think I'm going to maybe delay that about 2 frames though. Start it off a little bit higher here. So it's got somewhere to go down there. Might need to switch up what I did with this part though. Just do the opposite there from what I had before. It looked like that was creating some problems here. Try to get it kind of like a ball feeling in there. Nice and bouncy in there if you can. Okay, and let's go ahead and save our file here. Let's look at this top cannon and see how bouncy we can make this. Drag it down there a little bit. Tip it up. Drag it down. Tip it up. Drag it down. Tip it up. We might switch the timing on this because it's pretty much the same timing that we have on that little ball section in the beginning. But we'll see here. Okay, I feel like that's actually working pretty well, better than the ball section in the beginning and the front, at least to start off with. Let's go ahead and look at it again. We could actually even play that up a little bit more, and you did pull it back a little bit, but I think we could exaggerate it a little bit more. Okay, well, let's go ahead and save our file, and let's do something about these side guns here. Make sure we're grabbing the right controller there. Go ahead and drag them here. I'm doing this one starting at 6 instead of 8, just so it's on some different timing there. Turn it up. Even though it's only a frame different, it'll affect, so it doesn't feel like everything's hitting all at the same time. That can get a little boring to have similar timing everywhere. And then when we look back, if we grab everything, let's just for example here, since we've mixed up our timing, we have this pretty much all on ones by mixing up our timing there without having to go in and really tweak every pose. Now, again, if this was a shot for a reel or a shot that I was doing for a studio or something, I definitely go in and really get a really solid pose on a lot of my keys here rather than doing this formula. But I feel like this workflow method works really well for myself, at least for getting fairly fairly adequate animation out there at a good consistent speed here. So let me know, I'd love to know about your guys' workflows as well. I think we could even play up the down at least on these guys. So this position we could amp up a little bit more. Let's see here. Yeah, I wish there, let's see if there's something that we can do with these legs here. What do we have that we can do? Let's go ahead and I want the timing to be very similar on these, so we'll just go ahead and we're going to key everything again here, and then we'll play around with it. Darn. Oh, I do have some. Okay, let's do some rotate here. Rotate Y there. Okay, so we'll go ahead. See how that looks. Okay, I would delay it a frame as well, just to mix it up a little bit more. I think I'll go a little bit in to start off with. This last one could be a little bit less here as well. It just helps loosen that up a little bit more. Okay, so now I have to see how I do that again, so I can do a similar thing. So again, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to punch in and key it all at the same timing as the foot kind of was here, and then go in and we'll tweak it a little bit. So I'll probably even go here and so rotate Y, I think. There we go, in a little bit here, out there, and back in again, out there, back in again, out there, back in again, out there, and back. Okay, now we've got to clean that up a little bit more. Zero that. Bring this out. That. And that back down. Back to 0. Okay, let's go and look at it now. Okay, that's pretty good. And let's kind of let's grab both of those and we'll look at the rotate Y's and kind of compare them and see how we did here. Let's try to find a little bit of like a middle ground in between there. They don't have to be exactly the same, but just so we have a very similar amount. And chances are we probably are aiming for something right in the middle of what we were looking at to begin with. So let's go look at that now. let's just do this all based on the same timing as the up and downs here, which we did, what, like every 6? Okay. So let's grab all of these guys, and we'll do starting at 3 here. So we'll just go 3, 9, 15, 21, 27, 33, 39, 45, 51, 57, and back again. Okay, and we'll look at the rotate. We'll just do side by one side and then on the other side. And we're just looking at the rotate Ys. And this is kind of a little more cheaty method of getting this done, but it still works. So it's really, is this one not really good? Let's deal with this guy. Motor. He doesn't seem to move very well. What about this one? That one does. Why is this one not doing? Let's go ahead and delete that. Darn. And we need to, maybe for some reason we keep the geometry. Wonder why. Let's go ahead and just delete everything on this guy. Let's see if we can't get some movement out of that. Well, that's a shame. Okay, we should still be able to get movement out of the front too. It's probably something I goofed on, but maybe not. But we can at least get these front two working, and with the camera angle we're working on, that'll help sell the idea at least. And I'm not going to do one side on the back and not on the other side. That would just kind of make it more obvious that one controller wasn't working versus the other. So I'll just look at one side here, look at the rotate Y, right up here, and make sure I'm getting on here, so we're just going to go every other one, and bring it down, bring it all up, and then we just want a little bit towards the end here, to kind of taper off the up and down movement, maybe something like that. That should work. Let's go ahead and look at that and see how it feels. I think it might be a little too much at the beginning, or a little too much throughout, so we'll just bring it all down. Let's go look at it now. Okay, and this would kind of be like if you're doing a video game and you had a little robot pet. This would be like if you, after you fed it a treat or something, the animation it might do. I always like to kind of figure out how an animation or a shot would like what would be the purpose for doing this animation or this cycle or something. It's just fun. I think it helps you to develop better story ideas with your shots then, if you give it some reason or some purpose. Let's do a little bit more here. So that's kind of the idea I was thinking for kind of something like this. It would be like, if this is my robot pet in a game or in a movie or TV show or something, like after you fed it its little cog treats or something, this is kind of what it would do. Go, yay! Or if you told it that it could have one or something. Okay. Let's go ahead and save that here. Now we have a little controller in here. What does this do? I think I'll leave that one. I'm not going to worry too much about that. These two I might do something with. Can do just a little in and out, I guess. So again, we're going to keep to the same timing here. Okay. And one thing I noticed, I think we might not have done an extra hold on this second step here. So let's make sure that we lock in that, just to have that extra plant or an extra frame there on that foot. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip it up here. Oh shoot, no, let's rotate Y. Flip it up here. And back down. Again there. Flip it up here. And back down. Again there. Flip it up here. And back down again there. Zero it up here. Go ahead and delete a frame. Let's go ahead and look at that now. Maybe not. Maybe keep it where it's at. Maybe we need to exaggerate it a little bit more to get that feel there. Okay, and let's go and look at the other side. Again, we're just going to use the same timing pretty much that we had with this foot, and then we'll go offset a frame or so. Okay, and look at the rotate Y here. Out a little bit there, bring it in, bring it out again, bring it in, and then we'll zero it out again. Let's go ahead and look at that now. Alright, I think that works pretty well. So let's go ahead and save our file here. We'll give ourselves a different color background. There's a very cool, just while I'm thinking about it for some reason today, it's on Reddit that was up there on the other day. Cool look at, let's create a new camera here, at colors and behind the scenes for like why movies choose the color they choose. I forget what it was called, but it is up on Reddit the last couple of days, so I'm sure you can find it. There's just a cool thing on YouTube about how like blue and yellow is really overused, but the green's used a lot in sci-fi, and just a bunch of different cool looks at color. I'm always fascinated by color. I don't think I'm that grand at my understanding of color, but I really enjoy anytime I can hear a lecture on color or that kind of thing. Just because I personally feel like it's kind of a weakness for me, or at least an area where there's a lot that I can learn, and I'm still at a lower level there. So I'm really fascinated by any kind of deep discussion on color. So if you guys know of any people on YouTube or anything that do good color discussions, definitely let me know. I'm happy to share a link to them or check out if you guys do color yourself. Scale that up a little bit. Scale back over. We will rotate it. Like I said, this rig's pretty big actually. So. Okay, what else we can do is this. Control C, Control, come on, copy that, paste. That's what I said about resizing, why you have to scale this rig down, because it's really big actually. Let's try this again. Copy it. Also copy and paste it. Okay, so just create another one. existing material. That was our Lambert 2 here. And maybe we can push it back a little bit more here. Just so we have a different color base to look at, not the same always. Kind of blue and gray. Maybe we can push that back a little bit more too. Just give us a little bit larger range of field here. Scale that up a little bit more. Rotate that in a little bit. Okay, let's go and look at that. And now we gotta make sure that we go ahead and delete that. Keep where we have it here. That works well enough. And like I said, this guy's a big rig, so I just mean size-wise. It actually runs pretty efficient for the size of it is. Not getting too much lag here. I'm gonna rotate our camera a little bit more. Get a little more front-on view here. I wish that was a little bit straighter here. We'll just do something like that. Yeah, I think that works. So let's take a look back. We're looking at one of my favorites, next to probably Tarantino, and I should do a list. I should do a video on awesome directors. Anyone that really challenges or is really playful. Their visuals tends to be people that I'm drawn to, rather more so even than the stories itself. It's more the visual aspects that really entice me. So that being said, Guillermo Del Toro said, I don't effing want a wider audience. I want the audience for the movie. Like, I don't know why I'm saying like, it's a thing that I'm working on. Bear with me, wonderful, amazing animators and creatives out there. But I think that's a great goal to have, to be so driven and so knowledgeable about what you want your story to be, or your song to be, or your animation to be, or your drawings to be, or whatever you want that narrative to be, that you stick to it and that you trust that, you might get a bigger audience. Like, this is something that even just kind of talking more about YouTube stuff, there's a lot of times where I know what kind of videos get popular on YouTube, and I could do those kind of videos where it's like top 10 greatest sexy bloopers from Friends. I don't know, just something where you know that it's something that's eye-catching, with a clip that's either got a funky thing in the front that makes you have to click it, kind of the clickbait stuff, whether it's sexy or intriguing or whatever it is. But I think it's important to know the audience that you're reaching for and know what that is and be true to that, and be okay that maybe it's not as big of an audience as it could be, but that it's the audience that you are trying to talk to that might be receptive to the things you have to say, that really you have something to say, that there's something that you want to get across and share with people and talk about. So I think that stuff's important. But again, I'm probably getting blabbering on about things that you guys just want to animate, and so do I. So I don't know, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about any of that stuff. Same goes as always, if you end up using this rig to make an animation of your own, I'd love to see what you guys come up with. And that goes, if you learned something along the way, share back what you learned. If you have different ideas of things we could have done different in this video, share that too. I'd love to know any kind of critiques or comments, concerns, any of that kind of stuff. I love you guys lots. You're awesome. You're amazing. I hope you continue on your journey every day, and that you're pushing and staying true to yourself and growing every day. And that being said, I love you lots, and we will see you once I find the record button tomorrow for some more animation.